everyone. We have more people signing on as I speak and as we head into the webinar. I want to welcome everybody who is here and thank you for joining us for the first webinar of 2015. Very excited about it and getting underway with a new year and a new schedule of webinars that we think will be really helpful to all of you. We've got and a lot of people doing the talking, so I think we're going to get underway. Sarah Coons, if you're there, do you want to say hello? Yep, we do. Do you want me to
kicking off? I've got the slides printed.
Okay.
Just the screen.
Okay.
Me if I'm off base here. But welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Kuntz. I'm the CoSA president. And as Ann said, welcome to the first member webinar of 2015. We have on tap for today, we have updates from our major committees. So it's a good opportunity to hear a little bit about what they've been working on and what they have planned coming up in the next year. And then we're going to end with some information from Heritage Health. So lots of good stuff today, and we'll go ahead and get started. Our first update is going to be from the program committee, and Steve Murray from Alabama is our program committee chair. So if he's ready to take it away, I'm ready to turn over to him.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be with you, and want to thank the other members of the program committee who've been working with us, Jesse Brown at the New York State Archives, John Metz at the Library of Virginia, Lisa California, and Shelley Thompson from the South Dakota State Historical Society. Productive and good working year already this fall since our committee came together after the meeting back in the summer. First item of business I'd like to introduce to you our new program coordinator is the title I was trying to find. Don joined us just recently. Donna's got a terrific background in innovation, working with organizations like the Northeast Document Conservation Center. She's consulted with the Cultural Heritage Collections and conservator on a variety of projects, and is adjunct at the Simmons College of School of Information Science. She's already contributed greatly to our committee's work, and we're really glad to have her on board as a member of the CoSA team. Most visible things that our committee works on is the annual schedule of webinars, and we're glad to have you all at this first one of 2015. This year is in program planning and management, so you'll see a series of topics throughout the year that address different areas of our works but we think it's applicable to historical organizations generally. Everything ranging from performance to managing exhibits to working on capital projects, working with a variety of other types of exhibits and grant-funded projects throughout the year. So we hope you find some place to plug in over the course of the year in one of those topics that will be of interest to you. I say that in the course of tweaking and finalizing this year's schedule, which you can find at the CoSA website, we've begun talking about some good topics for 2016, and a list of those has begun. I'd like to encourage you to participate throughout the year and have some ideas about things you'd like to hear about. We are absolutely receptive to that, and would love to hear your input on how we can address needs that your institution has. Things that you'd like to perhaps survey staff, get some suggestions from them. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. The next webinar today's will be in February, on February 26th. It will be one of two sessions we devote this year to a Shrab Town Hall, and this is an important year this year, being the 40th anniversary of the State Board, and we'd like to do a little bit of both a retrospective on what the Shrabs have accomplished over those 40 years in coordination with the NHPRC, and we might be going into the future. So on 26, we'll have the first of those two sessions. We Director Kathleen Williams and the State Programs Director Dan Stokes, who will be talking about the history of the Shrabs. This is an opportunity for us to ask some questions to them as they go through a process of strategic planning at NHPRC later this year. We would like you to come to that session in February with some good questions for them, suggestions, things that they can take back to them as they begin that process. And then later in the fall, they will have a follow-up opportunity to come back to us to kind of close the loop, town hall, and tell us a little bit more about how that strategic planning process has gone, perhaps other things about, with important dates on other things happening at NHPRC. And coming up in the next couple of weeks with an invitation to provide those questions. We hope that you'll do that. The PD also works on communications out to the states. We do that in a variety of means. We've got a quarterly newsletter. Are increasing our activity on social media and appreciate the staff's work in that area. We also have two lists currently. One that is the Mesa listserv. There's also a Siri and we are in the process of developing a third that would be open to perhaps anyone working in state archives, a discussion list on issues of concern to those of us working with public records in the state arena. Our will be revising and finalizing some policies regarding that listserv to take to the full board. So look at in the next couple of months as we will be ready to announce that and ask you all to join the conversation through the new CoSA listserv. If you're in the quarterly newsletter from Ann, please check your spam file. We are able to see the open numbers in terms of how many people are looking at those emails. We'd like to make a valuable source of information for you all, so look for those and add us to your address book if you're not getting that currently. And then that the committee is working on, we're in the early stages of this, but conversations have taken place at our annual meetings and others about the importance of new 21st century skills in the archival world. We are in the early stages of developing a white paper on the skill set of a successful 20th century archivist, and we will be developing that and we hope some new resources hosted on the CoSA website that will be useful for all our organizations as we refine job descriptions and try to equip staff to work in the 21st century arena. So thank you. As I said, we always welcome your input on the work of the program committee.
Steve, we appreciate that. According to my analog printout here, is an update from City, and that will be given to us by Matt Beach and Veronica Martzel. They are our City steering co-chairs, and I think they're going to tag team giving us an update on the State Electronic Records Initiative.
This is Veronica. I'll be starting off. Our grant with IMLS to assess training and provide training opportunities has been progressing very well. Many have attended either or both of the introductory and advanced institutes or of other training opportunities that these funds have provided for. The grant is that we're actually under budget for this grant, so we're IMLS to discuss the possibility of using student support grant funds for scholarships for training and possibly a pre-conference workshop before the annual meeting. Similar to the PERCH training that we had in August, we're hoping to subsidize travel for that workshop. The IMLS approved the plan. Lots of details to be out soon, but we feel very confident from our discussions with IMLS that very receptive to our proposal, and we hope to receive approval as soon as our revised work plan and budget are submitted. As soon as that's in place, we'll be able to notify you of those upcoming opportunities. Certainly thanks to everyone who's been working on that grant, but particular thanks to Sarah Kuntz, Beth Shields, and Becky Jolson for all their time and effort that has gotten us really a successful grant project and provide for a lot of training for our community. and I just want to highlight Electronic Records Day. It continues to grow and continues to be a great success. Here we had broad participation in our 1010 event, not just within the State Archives community, but from many allied organizations. Awareness Subcommittee already hard planning for the 2015 event. It's Saturday this year, but that being said, the committee is putting resources that you'll be able to use to promote the day, as ways you can learn of the activities your colleagues have rolled out and that you're planning to roll out this year. Many thanks to the Awareness Subcommittee, particularly to Chris Stenson for his work there. And with that, I will turn it over to Matt.
I am Matt Veach, State Archivist in Kansas, and along with Veronica, the co-chair of the series steering committee. Is something you guys are probably all familiar with, but the PERTS portal, PERTS stands for the Program for Electronic Records Training Tools and Standards, and the PERTS portal went live last year. And you can find it at the link that is listed there on the slide, rc.statearchivist.org. It's also linked to from the CoSA website. And just want to mention that the PERTS grant, which was funded by the NHPRC, we did get an 8-month no-cost extension in order to continue to add resources and to add features to the PERTS portal. There's a little extra money left in that grant as well, so we're working with our web development vendor to come up with additional functionalities that will enhance the portal and hopefully make it more kind of two-way communication based, a little bit more interactive. I do want to mention all the work that the Best Practices and Tools Subcommittee of the has put in on the PERTS portal. In particular, also thank Carol Kusman and Becky Jolson, who spearheaded all of the work on the PERTS portal, and it's been a very successful project. The second thing that I'd like to mention is a brand new project and another grant that we've successfully applied for, and that's another IMLS-funded grant. This is a planning grant. It's called the Access Project. Archives collaborating and cooperating with external strategic stakeholders. And what it represents is an effort to kind of, we've been talking to ourselves quite a bit, trying to get ourselves up to speed on all of the electronic records initiatives and electronic records work that needs to be done in state archives. And we feel like now it may be time to start identifying those external stakeholders that have an interest, kind of common interest in making sure that electronic records, electronic information that are creating are available and are preserved over time. And so there's this kind of two-step process here to what we're going to be doing with the Access Project. We're going to first try and identify who are the external stakeholders that we should, or maybe we already are working with them, but perhaps aren't. And so identify those stakeholders and then come up with strategies for engaging those stakeholders. Each group may be a little bit different in terms of how we need to engage with them. We have hired a principal investigator. That was part of the grant project, the plan for the grant project, and so we're very happy to announce that Michelle Gallinger is our principal investigator, and the project team is getting together, I believe, next week for the kind of the kickoff meeting of the Access Project, and it's a one-year planning grant, so we're going to be moving pretty fast. So I'm sure you'll hear more about it as the year goes along. So that's it from Siri. Thanks, Sarah.
Okay. Thank you, Veronica. Next up of updates, we're going to hear from Jim Corridon. He is the chair of the CoSA Advocacy Committee and will give us an update on advocacy efforts.
Thank you, Sarah. I just want to bring everybody up to date on some of the things that are going on related to advocacy. April, about 3 months out, the board will be meeting in Washington, D.C., and one of the traditional things that we do while we meet out there is hold our annual briefing. And we invite both funding institutions like IMLS and NHPRC, the Library of Congress, et cetera, to the meeting, but also other associations related to the historical and research communities, entities, NASIO, things like that, organizations that we believe, talking about Access Grant, to the archives, both our users, records generators, etc. And so we do an annual briefing there to bring them up to speed on some of CoSA's activities and some of the directions we're headed and some of the challenges we're facing. So that'll be, I think it's on April 8th at the National Archives. And in addition, on April 7th, Barbie, Sarah Kuntz, and I are going to be going up to Capitol Hill and meeting with some senators and legislators and congressmen, particularly from, or their staffs more likely, particularly from Kentucky. Kentucky seems to be the center of potential issue for the archives in the future. And so we're going to be meeting with Paul Rogers' staff, who is the chair of the Appropriations Committee in the House, and Peter McConnell's staff, who's now the head of the Senate, and hoping we can make some progress and make some inroads on why archives are so important and some of the funding things that we're hoping to get done, off of a lot of Kathleen Rose's work on PAR. Even before that, by the way, at the end of this month, next week, NHPRC is their meeting, next commission meeting, and so I'll be attending that, and we'll be able to report back to the board and then to all of you about any significant things that NHPRC has or any changes they plan to make. Coming May is the deadline for nominations for the CoSA Advocacy Award. And so we would encourage any of you, if there's things that are going on in your states or people that or you think are due recognition for their efforts on advocating on behalf of archives, please submit an application for those. And then lastly, new group that's meeting tomorrow for the first time, a joint working group on advocacy, where CoSA, NAGARA, and SAA all have 2 representatives. Nancy Beaumont from SAA, their executive director, and Ann Ackerson are going to be joining us. And we'll be seeing efforts between the organizations and making we all stay informed and on the same page as far as where we're headed. So that's a new thing that's kind of been in the hopper for a while. And kudos to Kathleen Rowe for helping us get SAA and the rest of us on the same page. I think that's probably it. Sarah, thanks for the opportunity to talk about the Advocacy Committee and where we're headed. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'm certainly open to answering your emails. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Next on our agenda is Sandy Treadway. Sandy heads our Development Committee and has lots of exciting updates on their work as well. Sandy?
Everyone. Yes, the Development Committee is a small merry band, but we are doing our very best to keep the momentum that was started by Julia Marks Young, was chair for the last 2 years of the committee, and keep funding beyond membership dues flowing to the organization. Serving with me on the committee are Steve Excel, Matt Blessing, and Susan Lugo, and of course we couldn't do our work without Anderson's terrific support that makes things just hum along for us. We've had successes in the last year. The annual appeal, which was a program started about 2 years ago to literally appeal directly to members and friends and supporters of CoSA for an annual gift, more than $1,000 last year. And we have the program a little bit for 2015, as it shows on the slide. We'll actually, from here on, be doing 2 appeals. What we discovered is some people give at the end of the year for tax reasons or just because it works for them. Other people like to give when there's less financial pressure on their budgets and like to do it in the spring, summer. So we'll be doing an appeal every June and every November. Obviously, we'd love it if folks can contribute to it, but we certainly feel this way we're accommodating people's schedules more. So we haven't set a firm goal for this year, but boy, it would be fantastic if we could go up by another 1,000 or so in a line item. We also, and this was largely Ann's initiative, but we started an auction, a kind of silent auction, at the annual meeting last year. And those of you who attended the CoSA SAA NAGARA meeting in Washington, D.C., I hope saw it and participated in it. and others from across the country donated items that spoke about something new or that was unique to their state. And anyone attending the conference could bid on those items, and we raised $1,000 from that project. So we'll be doing one this year in Austin, and if you've got things you might like to contribute, please do contact either me or Ann Ackerson to find out how you can better that, if you can carry them with you, that's always the easiest way, but if you need to ship them ahead, let us know. But we really would like to expand that auction. It was really popular and very successful. One of the things the Development Committee does is try to engage companies that have an interest in shared with the CoSAs to support the organization to our mutual benefit, we always hope. Last year, we were able to add 5 new sponsors: Family History, PRICA, the Reserve, and Metal Edge. So obviously, the Development Committee is focused on maintaining those relationships and strengthening them. And they're not just financial. Many of those organizations are helping in lots of other programmatic and advice and guidance ways as well. This year, we have one new sponsor this year, but we're working very hard to identify some others, but especially are focusing on building with Microsoft. Microsoft was always on our radar, but through Steve Excel's intervention and advice, we were able to make an inroad and make some connections there with staff at Microsoft that do local and state and federal government relations. So we're now in the exploratory phase with them in terms of identifying issues of mutual interest that we can perhaps learn from each other, work together on, build a relationship, and obviously we hope down the road that Microsoft may become engaged enough that they wish financially to support a program or activity or our annual meeting or some that CoSA is doing. One of the important reasons for doing this development is so that we can keep membership dues affordable for most state archives. If you have an interest in this area, we'd love to have you join the Development Committee. Just let me know if you're interested. If you've got this about sponsors, new sponsors, companies that you deal with that you think might engage with us, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda is going to be an update on CoSA Awards programs. CoSA has a number of awards that we give out every year, and deadlines for some of those are coming up, and I will ask if Shelley Thompson, who's a member of the awards, would be available to give us an update on those.
Can you hear me?
And
oh, great. Yes, this is Shelley Thompson from the South Dakota State Archives, member of the Awards Committee, and we have a May 1st deadline coming up for several of the awards. The Victoria Irons-Walsh Leadership Award is an award that's toward outstanding contributions of an individual or institution, development of state or territorial archives. The Victoria Irons-Walsh Travel Stipend, which is targeted at emerging leaders in state and territorial archives, and that provides a travel stipend so that that person can attend the Council of State Archivists annual meeting. The A for Archives Award is an award that's aimed at individuals or organizations that have made significant contributions. And the Rock Star Award is an award for an outstanding contribution by an individual, staff, or team member that they've made to the state archives or constituencies. All of those awards, they have a May 1st deadline, and the nomination forms can be found on the website that's listed toward the bottom of the slide there. There is also a September 11th deadline coming up for the CoSA Ancestry Leadership Award, and that is aimed at mid-level managers and it's to support professional development and provide some funding for travel to the annual meeting. There is also a new award that the awards committee is about, and that's the CoSA NHPRC SHRAB Award of Merit. And you'll just watch for more information on that coming up.
Okay. I would encourage everyone to take a look at the awards categories in detail on the website and see if you have a staff member or colleague or someone that you'd like to nominate for those awards. They certainly are a good opportunity to get people to travel to the meetings and recognize their good work for the profession. Okay, next on our agenda, since we're done with updates, is we're going to turn the program over to Leslie Lange. Leslie is the director of the Heritage Health Index at Heritage Preservation, and she's going to speak to us today for a few minutes about the Heritage Health Information Survey of 2014.
Can you hear me?
Hear you. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. Everyone, thanks for hosting me today. I'm trying to give you a quick and sort of overview of not only the survey, but also, sort of where we are right now. We are a national sample survey, and we are in partnership with all of the major cultural agencies here in Washington, D.C., Institute of Museum and Library Services, National Endowment for the Humanities, National Endowment for the Arts. We have Getty Foundation funding. We also have Crest Foundation funding. This is a big undertaking. It's really an important survey. It's something that obviously everyone feels quite invested in, and that's why we've got a lot of support for it. Let's see if I can get it here. All right. If you know much about my organization, Heritage Preservation is a nonprofit that has been in Washington, D.C. for almost 30 years, I think, doing a lot of capacity building and programming, professional development, and, of course, research, really working in collections care. That's a period of different kinds of projects, lots of great successes, and, the Heritage Health Information Survey was really born out of a need to know more about not only the items, but where we are in their future and how we can try to preserve them better. The initial survey was organized in 2002 to 2003, 2004, and so was happening. All of these cultural agencies were involved, all of our partners and associations like CoSA, like SAA, like NHPRC, like the American Alliance of Museums, like the American Libraries Association. Everyone really came together to try to craft the best questionnaire possible, and to also capture, some of the premier cultural data that we could possibly use this and use this project for. As you might know, there's kind of a mix of cultural data in this country, and definitely 10 years ago, there wasn't as much regularized collection in this field as there is today. So they really took it very seriously, and we take it very seriously that this is a very important data collection. And as you can see, we really did try to meet all of the standards, not only at the federal level, but social science standards. This data collection is incredibly important, highly representative of all of the collecting institutions in this country, of state and every territory. It's about all collections types. We really do look at the small specimens that are held in biology departments at universities, to the papers at a small historical society, to the works of Van Gogh, to dinosaurs that the Army Corps of Engineers preserves and keeps, in museums and other repositories. Everyone is being surveyed in this survey, and the sample is enormous. And, that's on purpose, by design. We really wanted to know something about all of the different objects in this country and really speak to the importance of them. We want there to be better preservation. We want there to be better professional development and capacity building at the institutional level, and this data really helps do that. And the 2004 study had a really broad reach. We, had a lot of national coverage. As you can see, we had trade coverage. American Libraries did a whole piece on it, but NPR, the New York Times, the Associated Press, greatly. We did a lot of conferences, including AASLH, including SAA, including ALA last time. And this is a series of stories. This is a very short list of a very long list that we keep in-house. Really tries to show you at least a small proportion of what it is that we know about anyway, and how useful the data really is. We're the funders and our cultural agencies highly supportive of this. The Connecting to Collections initiative that was born at IMLS, really was, the impetus was HHI and the data that resulted from it. The National Endowment for the Humanities has programming, more targeted programming as a result in their Preservation and Access program. But as you can see, other foundations utilize this data. States were using this data. Organizations are using this data. A lot of things happened as a result of this, and so we had so much success. We were to do a 2014. See, just as point of reference here, the 2004 survey was very representative of the cultural organizations in this area. So archives is definitely in there, but we have just about everybody, and the proportion of institutions in the sample is, representative of what we see when we look at the numbers broadly. Currently in the field at this 10-year anniversary study now that we're doing, and we have 555 sampled archives in this round. That is drawn from not only CoSA membership, that's drawn from SAA membership, deduplicated with other library records and directories. So we really tried to boil it down to as many as we could possibly find. We've got 88 responded at this point. We still have about 3 weeks until February 13th when data collection will close. That response rate of about 16% to double. As you can see, we've got 84 partials, so then we'll have about 32% response rate, or about 31 realistically. And just for you, the archives in the sample are numbered 52. Now, we know that state archives either under a historical commission, or there's a libraries and archives commission or department at the state level, and in cases, one survey is being issued for an archive center, the Historical Society and Archives collections together, unless we know in advance that those collections are being managed independently of each other. This has been checked at least twice. So 52 represents all the territories, as well as those collections we know at the state level, the archive collections at the state level that are being managed sort of separately. These are the 52 invites that we sent. 19 of you have responded, and 9 are partial, and so we're really sort of about half at this point. We do have 3 weeks left. We're hoping that the other half of the state archives will help us out and get logged in and get started on the survey. As you could see from some of the slides before, this data has such a broad impact, and we really do our best to be representative of the cultural heritage community and all groups, including archives. Important to us to make sure that we know being taken care of. And, at this 10-year anniversary, this allows us to be able to say something about what those program changes have been in the last 10 years. We want to know if the additional funding from IMLS and Connecting to Collections or NEH has really helped folks get to a different place where we know much more about emergency planning, at the institutional level, or if funding has changed and we see greater amounts of funding, maybe in-house as well as, additional grant monies coming in or foundation monies coming in. These kinds of things really help know, but it also broadens the field. It broadens the impact of how it is that we continue to build and do policymaking around collections care. And, we're at a high mark with the state archives. We're, certainly hoping that all state agencies participate in this, because the data is also going to be made public this year, and that's new for us. I said we're still in the field, so until February 13th. As you can imagine, the sample is enormous, and so the data cleaning and the analysis and the write-up of that will take a little while, which is why we're in February to March territory. And then right about April is when we expect to have a national data release, and at that point we'll have on the IMLS research website a data file that has all of the respondents and their data, the type of institution, and the state will be marked as primary characteristics on that file, and so anyone can take that and run with it. We want researchers and others to really be able to, run statistical analyses on this kind of data and really utilize it and make it a core component of how it is that we continue to do cultural research going forward and have, like I said, a premier data set. So a level data file will also be available upon special request to IMLS, wherein the name of the institution and the street address and those things, maybe geographic markers that would, be left off the public file are going to be on that microdata file. And so that's really where we're at right now. The data collection is going rather well. We did make an extension through February so that we could make sure that we didn't leave anybody out, because we know that we were trying to collect data right before the holidays. So, holidays always get tough time of year. If you'd like your login information, if you want to know what the 2004 data looked like for your state, you can call me directly. This is my phone number, 202-233-0824. Or you can email me at the survey email there, HHI 2014 survey at heritagepreservation.org. I'm always available, and I'm always willing to help. I have a couple of staff who can also be of service, and we really hope that the State Archives help us in this endeavor. Thanks for your time today, you guys.
Okay, thanks. If anyone has any questions, I'll have to rely on the support of Becky and the CoSA staff to let me know if there's questions, but we have a few minutes if anyone has any questions for Leslie. In North Carolina, I just verified that we turned ours in, so I made sure our collections people got that in, and it hardly seems like 10 years have gone by since the last survey.
Never remarkable, right?
It is, but very, very useful data. I know it's been used online as well. Questions? Mm-hmm. Or for that gave updates?
If you type them into the chat box or the Q&A box, and if you want to ask your question verbally, just hit the hand raise button, and we will unmute you.
Well, here without being able to see the slides, if Becky enter me if there are any questions in chat, but if there aren't any at this time, I'm going to turn the webinar over to Danya to wrap us up.
First, we really would like your feedback. And just so as a reminder, we do have a webinar evaluation that will automatically pop up on your screen after you exit WebEx. Please fill it out, just the tick boxes, but some of the ideas, part of the program committee, we really would like your ideas for future webinars, because we come up with all sorts of things we think you need to learn about. You tell us what you really are interested in learning about. So please take care, please fill out the evaluation for us. We have some upcoming webinars. On Tuesday, February 10th is one of our series webinars on preservation in the cloud. February 26th, of course, is our town halls. And again, a reminder, watch for that email from Anne about requesting you send in to us. And then Thursday, March 26th, we're going to be having a really great program on managing for staff performance. We just finalized our last survey, and it's going to be a really great. Please watch the website, watch your email for registration for those come up. This opportunity to say thank you to our corporate sponsors. Each year, CoSA's corporate sponsors provide critical funding support from any of the CoSA membership activities and events. We're especially grateful to Ancestry.com and our other corporate sponsors featured here, Family Search, Preservica, Gaylord Archival, the History Channel, APPX Software, and the Media Preserve. Support for program initiatives is also generously provided by grants from NHPRC and IMLF. So, opportunity, if you're at a conference, say thank you. Then don't forget to you purchase materials from these sponsors of ours. And then finally, you can always stay connected and informed with the Resource Center, through the blog, through Twitter, through Facebook. And don't forget, if you're getting the newsletter, please check that folder, because you know what ends up in there. I will turn it back over, because I believe we are at the end of our webinar.
Thank you. No questions. I want to thank everyone for attending today, and thanks very much to everyone who worked so hard on all of the CoSA committees that you heard from today and all of the series subcommittees. There's a lot of really great work that's being done, and I can't thank you enough for all of your efforts in each of these endeavors. And thank you to Leslie for giving us the update on the Heritage Health Index Survey, and make sure that if you need additional information about completing the survey that you get in touch with them so that you can get that in and be part of that, that data pool. That would be wonderful. Thank you all, and I look forward to talking with you all on the next webinar.
Sarah, it looks like they're, oh, sorry, I was just saying thank you.
Thanks, everyone.